Hello everyone, and you join us here today with the all-new Mini Cooper JCW Convertible. And we drove the hot hatch in the rain not too long ago version of this, the full coupe, but this is the convertible version, and it is a fun, quirky little vehicle. And some things are a little bit similar, but a lot is new. So let's hop inside, we'll take it on a drive, and we'll let you guys know what's going on here. Popping inside our Mini, a lot of familiar stuff here. Let's turn it on. Nice little sporty start up there. And of course, we have a 228 horsepower, 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, front-wheel drive. We have a front diff, 7-speed dual clutch gearbox in this vehicle. We've driven this vehicle before in the hardtop form, so this is just a little bit of a difference. Nonetheless, let's power it on, put it into drive. We have these really cool selectors and stuff in the Minis, of course, which I really like a lot. And this interior generally is very familiar to what you're going to find throughout the new Mini lineup. Same OLED display, though the dash design is a little bit different and smaller in the regular Minis versus something like the Countryman, for example. There's a little bit of a wider space. Heading off. You know, this car is very peppy and fun, and I like to say that this is a very unique vehicle. And I say it's a very unique vehicle in the sense that there's not many convertibles left on the market anymore. So this is a unique proposition to that solution if you're looking for a convertible now. And this one is plenty fun. You know, Minis relatively are very mini still compared to all of the other vehicles in the entire world. They're really tiny generally. This car feels very small. Is it as small as they once used to be? No, but they are still small, they are still mini, they're still quirky, they're still fun, peppy to drive. They haven't changed. So, and if anyone's saying, you know, Mini's gotten bigger, they're too below, this is just not true. You haven't been in the new Minis. Yes, they're way more technologically advanced than before, but they're still a Mini at the end of the day. But efficient mode is really impressive. I was able to get 34 mpg this week on the highway run, and I know this car can do even better because these B48 engines are crazy efficient. And even as of this filming, there are rumors that Mercedes may even use the B48 down the road, which is kind of a crazy rumor, but I wouldn't blame them. It's a great engine. It's super efficient, peppy, powerful, and tunable as well. But as you can see here, with this little front piece of the roof open, you can also open your side windows easily. There's also one singular button to open all 4 windows. So you do have these tiny little rear quarter windows that you can open from this switch as well. So those are easily to go down, and that's really nice. And of course, we can go a step further and open up the full top. And I've noticed this little bit of a jerkiness in both efficient mode as well as in our just normal core mode, I believe it's called as well. Here we go, core. Definitely most notable in the efficient mode. It's really just at low speeds, if you're kind of just, you know, kind of coasting a little bit along, that you'll notice that. As you can see here, it is a little bit on the stiffer side. Is it the stiffest, you know, convertible I've ever felt? No. The ride actually on general road, just day-to-day driving, isn't that bad. You just kind of notice it over some bumps. That's mainly due to how stiff this vehicle is overall, because it is a convertible. Mini says they didn't change too much from the coupe to the convertible, but there definitely is more chassis stiffening in here to kind of give you that same experience. And I think it's totally fine. I really don't notice any sort of like cowl shake or anything. Though how this convertible top is constructed, there is some kind of squeaking and rattling from the window seals as it kind of merges into the convertible roof. That I did notice. Of course, we also are getting our go-kart mode, so that gives you a fun little animation and sound there. This is where things get a little aggressive. If you go into your experience settings, press this button, you kind of adjust this to be even more aggressive. But this thing moves. I can definitely tell you that. You get 2 kind of different displays here, so you can have this view for our go-kart mode, or we can go back to our experience screen here and kind of have this G-force meter here, or your power meter. I think those are really fun and playful designs there. And it's really easy to change your drive modes, or what Mini calls experiences, in this fashion. So as you can see, you get a little bit of some fake pops and bangs out of this speaker system here. I wish the exhaust itself was a little bit more natural and louder than what they've done on this new JCW lineup. I've noticed this in the coupe version, the hardtop version, and this convertible, and even in the even more powerful Countryman John Cooper works. Now, this go-kart mode is aggressive in the sense where this transmission will kind of downshift aggressively when you're coming to a braking in automatic mode. But of course, we have an S mode as well as manual shifting via these paddle shifters here. And while there may not be a lot of real exhaust noise, there is actually quite a bit of intake and turbo sound in this engine, which I think is actually really nice. So let's see what happens when you pop this transmission into S. Okay, downshifts a little bit. It's a little bit more aggressive. Very aggressive shifts there as well. And this thing, like I mentioned, is really, really quick. You know, with 228 horsepower, front wheel drive, you know, these aren't the biggest tires as well in the vehicle. Pop it back into our efficient mode out here on the highway. It's surprisingly quick. Now, of course, 0 to 60 times aren't crazy impressive, but that's not the point of this car. If you're, you know, looking at this vehicle and all you're worrying about are 0 to 60 times, then you're misunderstanding this vehicle. It's about fun and all daily driving applications. If you're able to have fun, you know, going around a slower speed area of some mountain roads or something, or even just in your daily driving commute, that is where this car really excels. But the great thing is, out on the highway here, this vehicle actually can go like a Mini and a BMW can, a proper premium vehicle. It can coast really well in these efficient modes like we have in right now, which means you're going to get really great fuel economy. And you know, if you're cruising at a higher speed on the highway where you have higher speed limits, it does that so well in a very stable, confident, and composed manner. So it has all that really premium nature in it still, which is really great. You know, steering isn't particularly good with feel, but you know, that's what we've come to expect out of a lot of Mini, BMW, and not just general vehicles these days. But the preciseness and the weight to it, I think, is pretty good. This car has a pretty quick front end. The front wheel drive, you definitely notice it, and this thing turns in really, really well. Going into a corner, you feel that, you know, kind of dynamic nature of this vehicle. It likes to go into corners, it enjoys it, and it will kind of make you feel happy doing so as well. So I really like that experience. On this highway experience though, it is definitely loud. You know, this convertible top is kind of canvas fabric material. It's thick, obviously waterproof, all that stuff, but it is let in a lot more sound than the regular hardtop will. Same thing with these windows. So that's just one thing you're gonna get out of this convertible. But it's a cool, tiny little convertible, and there's really no competitors in the market anymore like this vehicle. So I think I think you can just get away from that and kind of ignore it a little bit. This one does have pretty much every option you can get other than the Union Jack embroidered into this convertible top. So that means we get our adaptive cruise control system. So all you do is press the button on the left-hand side of the steering wheel here, and voila, we get active steering assist, active drive assist, and all of that fun stuff out of this vehicle, and are very familiar, easy to use fashion as we find in other Minis as well as other BMW Group products. We're also getting this really cool, you know, assisted display here showing us what's happening in the center gauge cluster, as well as our heads-up display up there. So this is a wonderful heads-up display. I actually like how they have kept this kind of pop-up little unit here. It gives you a little bit more of a separation from your windscreen, and it also allows, I think, a little bit more information to be displayed in a more clear, out of your main line of view sight, so it's not constantly distracting you all the time. So I do like that a lot there, and it's very crystal clear. The graphics are great. They're just as good as this display, honestly, which is really nice to see. And this system works absolutely wonderful. Obviously, it's not a hands-free system. When we were in the Countryman's, they actually had a driver monitor built into the front of this dashboard here, where it was able to kind of scan your eyes to make sure you're watching the road. So it could enable a little bit more advanced features than this particular vehicle can get. But still, this is a great feature. If you're taking this on a road trip, which we plan to do in this vehicle, I think it's going to work totally fine. but you know, just general first impressions of this Mini over the course of these first few days, awesome. It's just really fun. It's incredibly a quirky vehicle. You know, stay tuned for our full dive into how this whole convertible top works, but it's a little unique, a little wild in that aspect, even how the rear trunk is laid out, and to the mystery as to why Mini kept the older housing of the last generation's taillights, but the inside are actually the new generation's LEDs and components there. Really interesting stuff with this car. And the starting price isn't bad for the entry-level model. The Cooper S, even the mid-spec one, is really a great buy. I honestly think the JCW Convertible might be a little overkill. I honestly may just go for an S, because you can even get a JCW appearance package now with the Cooper S. So that may be something you want to consider if you don't want to go full all out in this JCW with a stiffer suspension, you know, fully adaptive dampers, and the likes. But something to consider there. And as always, thank you guys for joining me on this look at the 2025 Mini Cooper JCW Convertible, and as always, stay tuned for more coming in Allcarnews. Cheers.